Okay. Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? I hope you are doing really well. For those of you that have not yet posted an update of how you're doing, maybe on the weekend you have a bit of time, not to do a big thing, but maybe just post a picture of yourself and say, hey, I'm on track. Between 1 and 10, I'm feeling on a 6 because I don't know, this is what's going on. So just give us a little teeny tiny update on how it's going, especially those of you that are catching up on the recordings. Like I know some of you are on vacation, and that is, fair enough and good for you and very important to be on vacation. But give us a teeny tiny update of how it's going. Even if you just write, I'm completely overwhelmed, I haven't done anything yet, that's also okay. Just let us know where we're at. And if you have anything you want us to know or you want us to ask. Tomorrow, we are going to be doing, we're going to be looking at the intentions again, okay? So the ones that you did over the last week and for 2022, but also the one for 2021. And I would like you to pick one that is the most important one, or the one you feel most about, like the one where you're like, oh my God, if this would happen, that would be the most amazing thing. I want you to pick one that we're going to be working with today. I'm not yet going to reveal what we're going to do with it, but I really want you to focus on choosing one that we're going to be working with tomorrow. And I recommend it's the one that you feel the most about, right? So for me, for example, the one that I currently feel the most about is manifesting my dream house and manifesting it because we're looking here for a new place where I can have the horses and do my work with the horses. So for me, as I said in the intention setting, right? For me, it's the intention is to have a place of transformation, a place of love, a place of happiness, a place of joy, a place of like where really the most amazing things can happen. And we're actually going to go look at a house just right after this call. So I'm really excited about it. And so that is my intention. And I'm going to dig deep, that is one of the big ones. So I've got 3 big ones this year, and this is one of the big ones. So that's the one I'm going to choose for tomorrow, because it's also the one that is where currently the most things are also happening around. So that's why it's the easiest to pick, because I'm most aware of it at the moment, and I can visualize it the best. Like I've got it like very close to my heart at the moment. All right, so that's for tomorrow. For today, we are going to be speaking about habits. So before I turn the record button on, I just said that, oh, and by the way, ladies, I know it's morning and I know you guys don't have your makeup on yet and things, but for those of you that do want to keep your camera on, I appreciate it so much, because if I make jokes, I see if you laugh or not, which makes my life a lot easier. So if you can, amazing. If you don't, fair enough. But it's nicer for me to see if people are smiling at what I'm saying or frowning at what I'm saying, or what the feeling is. Does the message land or not? It's great to see. Thank you so much. Okay, so habits. One of the things we were just discussing is that we're beginning to become more aware of our thoughts, and we're beginning to see more of what is going on and how we're thinking and how we're feeling, and to have a positive conversation with ourselves. Because at the end of the day, it's all about energy. It's all about energy and having a strong baseline. And also what's important to know is that this work never stops. So if you think like, okay, I'm going to do this 21 days, you guys all know that, but it's not like, okay, we do this 21 days, then we're in a good positive state, and then it stays like that forever. But this work continues over time. It continues and continues and continues. And it's just the way, because we want to keep evolving. We don't ever want to stop growing. We want to keep evolving. We want to have more high energy, but also the more we grow, the more challenges we face, right? Like I was speaking about boundaries, the more we grow with our setting our boundaries, the more powerful become, the bigger the lessons become, that are testing our boundaries, because the universe wants to test if we're serious. And it also wants to test, wow, they're really serious now. So then the rewards that we're trying to manifest are coming into our lives, because some of the things they cannot give us, like, for example, it could be that universe says, well, as long as your boundaries are not strong, and I know I can say this in this group because it's not the case with anybody, as long as your boundaries are not strong, I'm not going to give you any kids, right? For example, that could be one of the things, because your kids, if I give you kids, your kids might drive you insane and crazy and nuts if you don't have any boundaries, right? So this is something that you want to think about, as the universe always presents you, or by the way, you can use universe, God, like whatever works for you is fine. For me, I use the universe because it's universal, and also because it doesn't differentiate between any religions and anybody's thinking or being. And also it is what I believe. Okay. So that is why we need to continue learning the lessons. We need to continue to grow. And I'm really on this road where I'm committed to grow my entire life and to keep becoming a better person, a better version of myself. And that is why I also am very aware, and almost every day, even sometimes twice or 3 times a day, I have a new challenge where my boundaries are being tested. And interestingly enough, it's always a topic that I'm currently working on. Like in the last 2 or 3 months, or generally last year, for example, I had a lot of leadership topics and boundary setting topics, a lot of them. And this was so interesting for my learning process. So I was like, okay, how can I become more aware? How can I become better? So every time that I was faced with a new leadership challenge, and it felt like they kept coming up faster, it was like at lightning speed. Sometimes it was like, really, like, I'm just done with the last time. Like, can't I have a break, like just for 2 seconds? Like, I'm getting it. Okay, I'm following up. I know I need to step up my leadership game. I'm getting the lesson, but please, like, can I just breathe for 2 seconds? And so I really was presented with a lot of leadership lessons. And the more I got, the more I learned, and the faster I was to respond. Because at the beginning, I was very much like, okay, how am I going to deal with this? Like, what am I going to do with this? This is really like, this is a new one I've never had before, and it's quite a big one. So they kept becoming bigger as well, right? So that was something that was very interesting. And one of the things I started to look at in terms of my energy was my habits. And my habits, I did some things that I said, okay, I really like got into some very powerful habits where I said, hey, I'm definitely going to continue doing those habits. And there were some habits that I either created or that popped up, that keep popping up. Like when I notice I have a bit of an energy low, these habits keep popping up. For example, for me, my negative habits, I've got two big ones, two that keep showing up. One is coffee. Okay. And coffee, not like 1 a.m, but like, okay, I need a break, I need a coffee. And then I have like 4 to 5 a day, and it's with milk and everything. So, and I noticed by actually the consumption of oat milk. So when I start buying like a lot of oat milk, and I need to buy 5 cartons a week, I know I'm back to my routine. So that's something where I notice, like, and now Charlotte's holding her coffee mug in my face. That's great. I've got mine here too, by the way. So one of the things is I really noticed that when I'm not 100% in the flow, then my mechanism in order to take a break, when I'm too much in my doing, so my coffee, okay, is my reminder, hey, you are too much in your doing, you're not being enough. That is my like little flag, okay, to say you need to go back into doing, you need to go back into focusing more on being and not doing so much. And when I do that, I notice again my coffee consumption goes down, because we create these habits in order to get out of something, in order to avoid something, in order to numb something. So I noticed, for example, that's my number 2 thing, in order to numb my brain. So if I have a lot of negative things going on, like for example, when my brother and I were discussing a lot around what to do with my dad and how to do it, and it was quite emotional because I had that opinion, he had this opinion. And so I noticed, like, in between, I just needed to switch my brain off. So I needed to numb my brain in order not to think about it constantly. And there, my go-to thing is Netflix, especially in the evening. And I love watching series. So like during Christmas and New Year's Eve, for example, I gave myself off time. So I said, okay, now I'm allowed. But I was also very aware, for example, that in the past, I used to love watching murder documentaries. I don't know why. I have no idea. Maybe it's something I got from my parents. But I used to love watching documentaries of women being kidnapped and killed. And I really have no idea why, but it for sure is not a very positive thing to do. And I noticed that overall, when I watched these documentaries, that my state of mind was not very good. Right. So it was just overall, because of course it has an impact if you're watching all these negative things. And especially I watched them before I went to bed. Brilliant idea. I had the most amazing dreams. Right. So that's why now, rule number one, if I watch Netflix, and especially like if I watch it before I go to bed, then I watch funny stuff. So I watch things that light my spirit. That's why I told you guys I watched The Nanny of all things. I watched The Nanny over Christmas because we were speaking about, we've got Fran here. So I had to say, I watched The Nanny over Christmas. So there I gave myself a bit of room and I said, okay, now between Christmas and New Year's, I'm allowing myself to have fun. But I was very aware, what is the intention where it's coming from? Like, why am I watching Netflix? Is it like, oh, I'm indulging myself and I'm spoiling myself to have a bit of fun and to watch a bit of Nanny because it makes me laugh and I think that a woman is hilarious? Or is it I need to numb my brain because I'm overwhelmed with what's going on in my family, right? And that is the important thing to understand. Why am I doing this habit? What am I trying to compensate? And is it something positive or is it something negative? And if it's something negative, then this is something that I need to look at. I need to figure out why. I need to eliminate the reason. I need to deal with it and not just go, oh yeah, let's watch another 3 hours of The Nanny and numb my brain out because I'm actually really upset with my brother. Okay. So then it would be better to just sit down, extract the lessons, understand what I'm dealing with here, go for a walk, even if it's in the evening, like try and find a different way in order to deal with the situation. Okay. And the other thing that I notice is that when I'm also a lot in the doing and less in the being, is this does not leave my hand ever. So then I'm a lot on social media, and as an excuse, I kind of think, oh, I need to do some research in order to create, or I need some inspiration for my posts. But actually, I just scroll. And it doesn't really give me any positive energy. So I've really tried to limit the time. And another thing that I've been doing is if we now go to the positive habits, one of the things that I've been doing is really doing things in a focused way, because multitasking doesn't work. And if we try to multitask, it takes us a lot longer than it does to just do one thing at a time. And so I've been very, very, very aware to really focus on what I'm doing, even though I'm having a hard time. And I'm having a hard time because we have by now activated, and I think most of you guys are into personal development, so most of you know this, right? That our attention span has really shortened. So we used to have quite a good attention span, but because of social media, we've developed something called popcorn brain. And popcorn brain is, first of all, that our attention span is shorter than that of a goldfish. And second of all, that because of social media and because of WhatsApp and because of the apps on our phone that constantly go ping, 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 it's like we get an impulse do something every few seconds. And if we don't give in to that impulse, if our brain doesn't get anything, it starts becoming annoying. It starts like going bananas in your brain and it wants more. So that is why we have popcorn brain happening, because our brain, when we don't get those impulses, is asking for more. And that's when we notice, okay, we need to go into a more positive place, and we need to get away from our phone, for example. So one of the positive habits that I've established. What was I going on about? Damn it. You see, there it goes so quickly. Focus. Haha. Speaking about the topic of focus, that is exactly fitting. So speaking on the topic of focus is, for example, when I speak to people, I am really present. Like I am really, really there. Not just a little bit, but I don't do anything else. I don't clean out the dishwasher. I don't do my laundry. I don't, like mainly I do it on video, so I cannot trick myself into doing these things, but I am really present and I am really dedicating 100% of my energy to that person. I also have my phone turned around, so I don't see things coming in. So that was one of the things that, for example, I really dedicated time last year to really focus on that and not to be distracted the whole time. That changed a lot for me. Okay, that really changed a lot. So that was one of the positive things. Another positive thing that keeps popping up on my to-do list is, or on my to-be list, is to drink more water. This is something that is, I keep underestimating, or I think we overall keep underestimating the importance of drinking a lot of water. In particular, if we're coffee junkies like me, then also our water consumption should go up. So that is one of the things, but I also have a lot of other really powerful positive habits that enforce more of the positivity, that enforce more of the good things. Like I've been going for long walks, for example. The long walks, I always get my inspiration for social media and things from my clients. And then I go for long walks, and then I have like these things. I was like, wow, I have really powerful realizations on my walks. And I noticed that if I don't do them, I miss them. And then I am not as productive. I'm not as powerful in the way I communicate and all the things. So for me, it's really important to take walks and to spend time with my horses. Those are really the two things. And they're also, I try to be present and not like, oh, to-do list, to do this. I try to be more, and I try to be present more, and I try to be present also with what the horses show me, for example, right? And the third powerful habit, of course, is that I love manifesting. And so for me, manifestation has been one of the most powerful habits that I developed over the past couple of years. So having said that, what I would like you to do is really notice and think about what are some of the habits that are negative, okay? So that are coming from a negative place that you should stop doing. And I would like you to create I would like you to think about 3, okay? If you think about more, amazing, but I would like you to think about 3 things that you would like to stop doing in order to be more positive and have more energy. That's the main thing, like being more aware of how can I be more positive? How can I have more energy? What are some of the things that you need to stop doing? And on the flip side, what are some of the things that you want to start doing? Okay, also 3 things. Like for me, drinking water, again, on my list. And what are 3 things that you want to continue doing? So for me, like I told you, the manifestation and the focus is definitely something that's going to move from my start doing to my continue doing list this year. Okay, so just 3 things. And what I would like to challenge you to do a little bit today is to be very aware, like, because those habits, when it's a habit, it's something you do every day or almost every day. So it's something I just want you to be a little bit aware of, and be aware of your habits, especially where they're coming from, right? So if it's a habit that comes out of something positive, or if it's a habit that comes out of something negative, okay? Okie dokie. So I am opening up for Q&A. Do we have any questions? Whilst I continue following my little coffee addiction.
So I missed. Do you want us to the second one to find habits that we're already doing that are positive, or should we look at what do we need to add? What type of habits do we need to add?
There are
Like,
three, right? There are three categories. There's a
Mhm.
stop doing list, there's a start doing list, and there's a continue list. So there's three.
Yeah.
So that means your start doing list is something like, for me, again on my start doing list is drinking water, right? Because I've tried doing it the last couple of years. I haven't been very successful, but it is again on my list. And one more thing to add to that. I'm sorry, I forgot to say that. So if it's something that has been continued to go up on your list, like my drinking water thing, for example, then you really need to think about, as a next step, okay, it's been on my list for the last 4 years. So either I choose it's not a priority, in which case it comes off my list and it doesn't go on the start doing list for a habit, or I need to find a way in order to manipulate myself or find a positive approach to it so that I'm going to succeed with this, so that it doesn't go on my start doing list again at the beginning of next year, right? So this is something that, for example, I have looked into some apps that will remind me on my phone to drink water. I have started setting up a place here where I always have a glass. So now all I need to do is get a pitcher. So some things that are gonna like put me in a place where I can drink more water. Okay, so that it doesn't end up on my start doing list again next year, but it ends up on my continue doing list next year. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay.
I have another question.
Yeah, go for it.
I think this is very interesting, and I'm seeing just the habit of showing up here every day is a very good thing. That starting every morning, actually committing to doing it and do, that is a good habit.
Yeah.
But how do you? I'm wondering. I'm curious about. You said you're so much into manifestation. How have you made that a habit? Can you explain a little bit more of that?
I made it a habit that, like, once I started doing it and I realized it worked, I realized how powerful it was. I got addicted to it. I was like, this is so cool. Like, I'm doing more of this. This is so much fun. And I got excited about it and I started having fun with it. And so then it was a habit that was something that just, if it excites you, it's easy. If it excites you at the beginning, it was more like, okay, how am I doing this? And then I started manifesting things very subconsciously, so very much not on purpose. And then I realized, like, wow, okay, what was I doing then? How did I do that? And so then I started looking into it more, reading into it more. But I also have to say that I've been dealing with the topic of manifestation for the last like 2 or 3 years. Like, I've been reading books and doing courses and all the things, but I wasn't consciously applying most of it, but I was definitely subconsciously applying some of the things, even though I wasn't aware of what I was doing, right? Like, told you, I manifested my partner last year. That was something that was completely going on the subconscious. And I will go into the thing of manifestation, I think next week, to give you guys some tools in order, like, to manifest a bit more. I know that you are also in the manifestation group of Gabrielle Bernstein. So
yeah, I'm doing her 21 day now, which is very good as a compliment to yours.
It's very good as a complementary thing. So that is a really good thing. And I'm gonna, the things I explain here, Gabby explains it on a very she really explains the basics, and she's very good at explaining the basics. I start on a bit of a higher level and I go a bit more into detail. So that's really good complementary to do this in parallel. And also her thing is a bit more light, it's like shorter exercises. This is really like deeper work and a bit more like, you put your hands in the shit kind of thing, right? It's not top level stuff. So I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into the manifestation, how to do it, all of these things. But the main thing is, when it comes to manifestation, is what you need to practice to make a habit is really mainly the combination of gratitude and what I call tickling the energy. So I'm gonna talk about it more, but just to give you an idea to start thinking about this is if you want to put manifesting on your start doing list, then first thing you have to do is practice gratitude like all the time, because it is the most important tool when it comes to manifesting. And the second one is to tickle the energy in terms of like when you have that dream, like for example, me with the house now, I combine the energies where I'm grateful. So like I say, for example, in the morning when I make my coffee and I stand out here, I look outside the window and I practice my gratitude things. I'm just like, wow, look at the day. Today, the day is not so great. So that's not something I'm going to be super grateful for. But I look at some things and I say, oh, wow, I love the house, for example, right? Like I'm so grateful for this house that was really basically, this house was a manifestation because it was gifted to us in the perfectly aligned timing by my partner's grandmother that died and left him this house. So we had an opportunity to move somewhere whilst we're looking, and we live here for free. So it's you know, this was a manifestation. And so that is why I'm grateful for this house every single day. And because I'm grateful for this house, at the same time I stand there, I'm like, oh my God, the new house is going to be so cool. And then I start thinking about all the things I'm going to do there, and all the people we're going to invite, and how much fun we're going to have, and how much transformation is going to happen there with people coming to work with me with the horses, and how amazing it's going to be. Like I imagine, like, wow, how amazing is it going to be when I wake up to horse smell, which is not the most amazing thing for most people, but it is for me. How amazing is it going to be when I wake up and I just go outside and see my horses? Like this is going to be just wow. How amazing is it going to be that I'm actually going to be there live when they give birth? Because so far I was always in the car watching on my camera on the way there, right? So these are the things where I tickle the energy and I'm like, wow, this is just going to be so cool. So it's called tickling the energy. So you're like, this is going to be amazing. Like you start thinking about it, you start like tapping into the pool of, ooh, this is going to be so cool. This is going to be so great. And you start getting excited about it. So, and I always combine it with the gratitude part. So I say, oh, I'm so grateful for this house. And I'm so grateful for the possible opportunity that we're able to live here, and all the things that have happened here. And that we invite people here too, and we have fun here too. And all the things, right? So I think about that, but then I think, oh, but in the new house, we're also going to be able to invite friends. We're also going to have a lot of fun. Potentially, you know, Corona is not so strict anymore, so we can invite more people, you know? So these are the kind of things that I think about where I tickle the energy. And that's something you can start playing around with in terms of manifestation energy, is really tickling. So whilst you do your gratitude, you can start tickling what is that intention going to look like? How is that going to be like? All right. Okay. Any other questions? Nope. Okie dokie. All right, ladies. Then I wish you a really, really, really powerful day. I will see you back tomorrow at 9, and we will dig a little bit deeper into how you're doing, how you're going. So tomorrow's session, I would estimate that we will be here until about 10. Okay, just a little pre-warning. So just have that planned in, because I want to like talk to each of you individually, see where you're at, see what's happening, just to make sure we're on track and we're not, you know, losing momentum, or if you're having difficulties with something. Like tomorrow is also time to really ask some questions and see like, hey, I was wondering, I was trying to set this intention, but it doesn't really work. I don't really know how to put it. Like all of these things we're going to be able to cover tomorrow. So if you have any questions, that's the second thing. Okay, so have your intention ready for tomorrow. And if you have any questions or any things specifics on the intention setting, then also have that ready for tomorrow. Okay. All right, everyone, I wish you a fabulous, fabulous day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.